Tottenham 0-2 Man City. Erling Haaland scored twice as Manchester City leapfrogged Arsenal in the table, putting them in pole position to win a fourth successive Premier League title. Manchester City have one hand on the Premier League trophy after an Erling Haaland brace against Tottenham put them on the brink of 4 in a row. GAWANG PATAH has summarized for you. Erling Haaland puts Man City on brink of title after surviving Tottenham's scare. 6 talking points. Tottenham 0-2 Man City. Erling Haaland scored twice as Manchester City leapfrogged Arsenal in the table, putting them in pole position to win a fourth successive Premier League title. Manchester City have one hand on the Premier League trophy after an Erling Haaland brace against Tottenham put them on the brink of 4 in a row. Haaland's second-half strikes returned City to the top of the table by 2 points with 1 game to go, leaving title rivals Arsenal hoping for a final-day miracle. It wasn't easy for Pep Guardiola's side, though, as their sloppy first-half performance gave the Gunners hope of an upset courtesy of their bitter North London rivals. Spurs had chances to punish them, too, with Son Heung-min's gilt-edged opportunity in the closing stages looking likely to haunt Arsenal fans for years to come. City had never won or even scored in a Premier League game at Tottenham's new ground, but this time Guardiola and co did the business. Here are 6 talking points from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 1. Vicario spares Hojbjerg's blushes. If you've been on social media this week, you might have seen a few jokes about Spurs defenders scoring own goals or making comedic errors to gift City a goal. Well, with 16 minutes on the clock, Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg almost put himself on a Football Funnies compilation. After Tottenham gave the ball away in midfield and centre-back Christian Romero failed to clear, Hojbjerg slashed at the ball in his own penalty area and it fell to Phil Foden, who looked certain to open the scoring. Instead, his well-struck effort was superbly blocked by the outstretched arm of Guglielmo Vicario. City were getting plenty of joy from Spurs' brave approach, with Kyle Walker in particular getting plenty of opportunities down the right flank up against left-back Mickey van de Venerable and Postecoglou's side didn't line up with an out-and-out striker, with different pairs of midfielders rotating into the forward roles. 2. Sloppy City. So often City come into a high-pressure game and remind everyone why we're daft to doubt them in the first place. When Foden tested Vicario, it felt like an opening goal was coming the visitors' way before halftime. City, though, got worse throughout the opening 45 minutes, so much so that Gary Neville declared on Sky Sports commentary, "It's as bad as they've played." Rodri, Bernardo Silva, and Kevin De Bruyne were all below par and Pep Guardiola was visibly stressed on the touchline, slumping back in his chair. Their best chance bar Foden's came when the England international turned provider and chipped a cross over to Erling Haaland, who had his low shot blocked by Van de Venerable. Bernardo was on the follow-up and his placed effort was blocked by the head of a defiant Radu Dragusin. Replays showed that Foden could have been offside in the build-up, but nevertheless, it was a sign that City were off it. There wasn't even any added time at the end of the first half, the first time that's happened in a game this Premier League season. 3. Haaland breaks the hoodoo. After 4.5 games filled with frustration, Man City finally scored a Premier League goal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. City had perked up after halftime break, and when Foden beat Romero in a 50-50 and brilliantly burst down the left flank, Haaland and De Bruyne were waiting. Initially, neither got on the ball, but when Bernardo slipped in De Bruyne, all the Belgian had to do was whip the ball across goal and find Haaland for a tap-in. The away end burst into ecstasy. Fantasy football managers breathed a sigh of relief and City returned to the top of the table. "Stand up if you hate Arsenal" rang around the ground. 4. Ederson fumes with Guardiola despite unsavory collision. Guardiola is no stranger to players being grumpy while being subbed off, but he likely didn't expect Ederson to be so furious when City's goalkeeper had to be replaced by Stefan Ortega after taking a huge hit from Romero. In challenging for the ball, the Spurs defender crashed into Ederson and left him virtually motionless on the turf and needing treatment. While City's medical team were concerned, the Brazilian initially was allowed to play on. It seemed an untenable situation, and soon enough Ortega was stripped, ready to come on. Ederson trudged off, muttering to himself before Guardiola attempted to calm him down and explain that the decision was for his own good. Still, that didn't convince City's number one, who sulked on the bench. Ortega didn't have much time to settle into the game, producing two strong close-range saves to deny Spurs an equalizer as the hosts began to probe. But the Germans' finest moment was yet to come. 5. Son fluffs his lines as Ortega becomes the hero. All Arsenal fans were waiting for was that one chance. That chance for Tottenham to exploit City's high line and punish them. That chance fell to Son Heung-min with a mere 5 minutes of normal time remaining, as time seemed to stand still. As the South Korean bared down on goal after a mistake from Manuel Akanji, it looked the perfect moment. But Son, so experienced and prolific in a lily-white shirt, saw his effort cannon off the leg of Ortega, leaving the red half of North London furious. That was indeed the chance, and the defining moment was only compounded when City were awarded a late penalty after Pedro Porro brought down substitute Jeremy Doku. 10 minutes of added time went up and the Haaland coolly slammed home, knowing that he'd put his team on the cusp of glory. Six, Arsenal knocked off the top. And so it's City in the driving seat for the final lap. After 37 games, 3,330 minutes of action and chapter upon chapter of this storied season, the reigning champions are in pole position to win a fourth successive Premier League title, a feat which we've never seen before in English football. Leading by 2 points but with a worse goal difference, City still need to win to guarantee the title, as a draw may not be enough. Arsenal host Everton and City welcome West Ham.